Hey there, welcome to the channel. Greetings from a little bit stormy, rainy Koh Samui today. It's been over a week since I put up a new video on the channel, so just kind of wanted to sit down and have a conversation with you, the viewer, and share some of the things that I've been working on lately. Just recently got back from a trip to Bangkok for about 5 days. I don't go to Bangkok very often. I mostly just stay here full-time in Samui. But I had an appointment at the US Embassy, which I had to schedule online. And as you're probably aware already, it's not particularly easy to get an appointment at the embassy. So yeah, I just booked the airfare, flew out of Surat Thani, which tends to be about 3 to 4 times cheaper than flying out of the international airport here in Samui. This is something that you learn after living here for many years. And my fiance had some vacation time for about a week, so we just decided to go up to Bangkok and enjoy the city for a couple days. But typically for me, after about 4 to 5 days in Bangkok, I just want to get the hell out of there. And they have a lot of really, really nice malls in Bangkok as well, so we did some shopping as well. And it was fun for a few days, but definitely glad to be back in Samui. The weather here is a lot better. There's a lot less pollution as well. That's one thing that was kind of starting to affect me in Bangkok was my throat was hurting because of the smog. And this is something that I just don't really like to subject myself to on a day-to-day basis. And luckily here in Samui, the air quality is way better than in Bangkok for the most part. So that's one of the things that I really like about living on the island. And it's cooler as well because you don't have as much concrete everywhere. Bangkok's just kind of like a concrete jungle. And I don't really care for the traffic all that much, although they do have an excellent public transportation system. So I was mostly just taking the BTS and the MRT everywhere. I think we took a Grab a couple times as well and a taxi, but public transportation in Bangkok is world class. So it's very, very easy to get around the city. But that being said, the traffic is still something that I never look forward to when I go to Bangkok. And also the hotel we were staying at was very close to Benjikiti Park, so very easy access to the park where you can go for walks, and they've just recently built an extension onto that as well, so it's looking fantastic now. There's a lot of green space in Bangkok as well. But I was just recently watching a documentary about Austin. So Austin, is, if you don't know already, is one of the fastest growing cities in the United States. And it's been having a huge boom for a long time. A lot of tech companies are moving there. Google, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, all the tech companies pretty much. Oracle as well. And now it's showing signs of slowing down. And on the topic of Austin, I just recently had an article published sharing my story about, making the transition from moving to Austin all the way over to the other side of the world here in Thailand. And that was in Business Insider. So if you haven't seen the article already, I've got a lot of people reaching out to me as well, just saying, hey, you're in Business Insider. Like I didn't know already. I mean, I sat down for a full interview with a journalist, and she actually reached out to me via email and found my content through the YouTube channel. So it's definitely working now. And so we sat down right over here in Lamai Beach. She did the full interview, and then about a month later, there it was, up on Business Insider. So that's not only great for my brand overall, but also for the SEO on my website as well. Having a backlink from Business Insider, which has an amazing, like a really, really good domain rating, is going to help send more traffic to my website and ultimately move me up in the search rankings on Google, Yahoo, Bing, all the major search engines. And another nice thing about this is that I'm sure other media publications will start reaching out to me in the short to long term as well. So this is just the start. It's just the tip of the iceberg. And it will be great to be in other publications as well, and hopefully inspire more people to make the move to Thailand, specifically Koh Samui, and to enjoy a lower cost of living, better quality of life, friendly people, delicious food, the things that I talk about ad nauseum on the channel. But overall, I've also started getting into AI automations and automating a lot of the operations for my business on a day-to-day basis. And I've started documenting some of those through tutorials on my YouTube channel as well. To save time and money for your business, I've just recently launched a school community, which I'll also leave a link to down below as well if you want to check out the school community. It's completely free to join, and then basically I have upsells within the community as well to get access to my AI automations, consultation calls, how-to guides, these sorts of things. I've tried multiple times with school and I always just end up giving up, but this time I'm not going to give up. I'm just going to continue going with the AI automation station community. That's what I'm calling it. So I think over time it's just going to continue growing and moving up the search rankings on school. So you're welcome to join that community. I'm providing a lot of value in there. And I think it's definitely going to be more lucrative moving forward versus my Facebook group, because I've got like 16,000 members in my Facebook group and 0 clients to speak of. So I've decided to kind of do that on the side and focus more on the school community moving forward. There's a lot more money in AI, and it's pretty much all anybody's talking about nowadays. So I figure, why not just launch my own community on school and start teaching how to build out automations to save time and money for your business. If that sounds interesting to you, check the link in the description, and you can also grab my ebook, which you can find on this YouTube video as well, and enroll in the coaching program, which is $3,500 for 6 weeks. I think that's very ambitious because most of the things that we're going to be covering in the coaching program will most likely require longer than 6 weeks to achieve, but that will at least give you the groundwork. It's really, really good to have some sort of online income, ideally before you come over here, right? If you're running out of money, chances are you're just going to have to go back home anyway, which, I've been forced to ask myself multiple times now, should I just stay here or should I go back to the US? And for me, the answer is obvious. I really have no interest in being in the US anymore, even though there may be a lot more job opportunities there and these sorts of things. It just doesn't appeal to me. Quality of life is way better over here, lower cost of living. I'm like 6 minutes to Lamai Beach, so very easy to get to the beach, and my rent is less than $600 a month. When I was living in Austin, I was spending, $1,800 a month for a tiny studio apartment close to the city. So I just had to ask myself the question, like, what am I doing all of this for? And maybe a lot of you can relate to this struggle. I think more and more people are getting away from the US, Canada, UK, Australia as the cost of living continues rising. Also, I really didn't like the politics as well. That was something that I was just getting really, really sick and tired of. I think it was Trump who was still in office at the time, and I left while Trump was still in office, and then Biden came in, and then that was just a big clusterfuck. And then now Trump's back in there again, and it's just, I try not to watch the news as much as possible, but it's very difficult sometimes because it's all over my feed when I turn on YouTube and Facebook, and it's just, I find it to be quite comical, to be perfectly honest. Like, I find myself laughing at how ridiculous the whole thing is. But I try not to discuss those topics too much on my YouTube channel just because I want to keep it positive vibes only, and I don't like to discuss politics too much on the YouTube channel, and I think that's probably very refreshing for a lot of people because they're just inundated with it all the time. It seems like all anybody is ever talking about in the States. And this was something that I just really was getting sick and tired of. So over here in Thailand, I turn on the news, they're talking about politics. I can't understand what they're saying anyway because it's all in Thai. And my fiancée, Mary, she doesn't really like to talk about politics all that much. It's not discussed widely. So it's just a much more relaxed lifestyle over here. So if you already have plenty of savings in the bank, or maybe you're getting a pension every single month like a lot of my retired friends are doing over here, then you don't really have to worry too much about the financial situation. That will pretty much just take care of itself. But I do find a lot of people making excuses that are preventing them from moving to Thailand. And this is all too common. In fact, I'm talking to a guy on Monday who may be a client of mine for consulting. He's based in the UK, and he's been in the video game industry for many, like I want to say 20 years or something. And now he really just wants to retire and have a much simpler life over here in Thailand. So I'm going to talk to him tomorrow. He already scheduled a paid consultation call on my calendar. I've kind of been going back and forth with him for a while. And finally, he came around and decided to schedule the call. So they realized that they don't have to be working 9 to 5 for the rest of their life. Right? There's a better way to go about it, and you don't have to stay trapped. Right? I think a lot of people, they just get it's called golden handcuffs. So they've been working for the same company, like my dad, for 25 years, and they feel like it's impossible to quit, because they've got the steady paycheck coming in every single month, and that's basically like dopamine that's keeping them trapped working at a job that they don't necessarily want to work at anymore, right? Case in point, my dad, he's been working for the same company for 25 years as a programmer, and now with the recent election of Trump, he's kind of cutting back on a lot of the DEI programs, and it's making it more difficult for him to get a pay raise at work. So he's just asking himself, should I continue working here if they're not even going to give me a salary raise? Or should I just quit and finally retire, right? And for me, it seems like a total no-brainer. But for him, it's a lot more difficult because he's got these golden handcuffs like I've been talking about earlier. And I think this is all too common with a lot of people that, they feel trapped working at a company that, maybe they've been working for many, many years, and it's kind of like a prison, basically, and they feel like they can't get out of that prison to enjoy freedom. Ultimately, is what it comes down to. They're trapped working at a job that they probably hate. It's just a matter of throwing in the towel, saying I quit, setting a hard cutoff date, and getting the hell out, right? Because honestly, a lot of these jobs are going to be replaced by AI sooner or later anyway. It's already happening. You see all the time in the news of, companies that are saying they've laid off tens of thousands of employees, like Meta, Google, Amazon, Apple. All of these tech companies are laying people off, and they're being replaced by AI bots, essentially, or AI workers that can do the job 10 times cheaper, better, and faster. So in my opinion, it makes a lot more sense to start learning these AI skills so that you can become indispensable. And then you can actually sell these solutions to companies in the long term for, $5, $10, $15, $20,000, whatever. The better you get at building out these agents and automations, the more valuable you're going to be moving forward. One of the really nice things that I like about living in Thailand is that I don't have to worry about the money quite as much as I would in the US. So that frees up my time to focus on passion projects and hobbies, and not necessarily worrying about working the 9 to 5 job just to get a paycheck to pay rent and all these sorts of things. I've set up various online income streams, such as this YouTube channel where you're watching this now, and Facebook, and I'm just building out the school community. I've got a Gumroad page, all these different passive income streams, essentially, that free up my time, so I'm not trading my time for money nearly as much as I used to. And this is what a lot of people get trapped in the cycle of. They're constantly trading their time for money. And as an entrepreneur, you have to find ways to make money while you sleep. This is the ultimate goal for any entrepreneur. You need to figure out how to replace yourself in the business. And this is what AI is allowing people to do more and more now. They can essentially replace themselves. Instead of hiring an entire team, all you really need is just a couple automations that can do everything for you. So you don't necessarily need to hire virtual assistants and pay them an hourly wage, let's say in the Philippines somewhere. You can just build out an automation or hire someone to build out an automation for you, such as myself, that will do the job of an entire team, right? And as more and more people wake up to this reality that AI affords, I think it's just going to become a no-brainer that companies are going to be replacing entire teams with AI, and it's already happening, right? So you are expendable. I hate to say it. There's no job security anymore. So ultimately, in order to provide value in the new economy, is you will have to become an entrepreneur at the end of the day. There's really no way around it. It was already like this before AI, and now it's just going to continue accelerating, I think. So if you have any questions about any of this stuff, I'm a wealth of knowledge. I'm always learning new skills. Just wanted to get a new video up there because I haven't posted anything for a while. And YouTube's all about consistency. So you just got to be putting out content on a weekly basis, ideally 2 to 3 to 4 times a week. Feel free to post your questions in the comments below, and look forward to hearing from you, and hope to see you in Samui sometime soon. Peace from Thailand. See you in the next one. Signing off.